Oh,
Huh.
perfect. Hello, everybody. Once upon a time, a boy from small town moved to Bangalore for his engineering. He did his undergrad, being jobless for 3 months after undergraduation, but finally found his path into Amazon in a non-technical role. He worked hard for a few more years and then decided to take a flight to Seattle, where Amazon is headquartered. And that's where I met him first on 8th June 2017. So here's one such guest today, Sharat. He's been my mentor as well. He was the one who introduced me to profession that doesn't involve coding, but lot many human skills, communication, critical thinking, and more importantly, imagination. Hey Sharat, how are you today?
Hello, I'm doing well, thank you. And firstly, thank you for having this session and talking good about me. Feels good to hear from you. Yeah, it's been a long time that we connected, almost 7, 8 years. Now, after having that much of time, connected in either ways, either phone or in call or video call. Now, sitting together now and discussing the past, it is really good. Thank you for having it.
It's an absolute pleasure, Sharat. First question, who should be watching this podcast series?
So this podcast series mainly it's for multiple set of group of people. So someone who just finished a degree and then looking to get into a data domain. That's the first set of audience. This is primarily this podcast series mainly we focus on the business analyst or the data world, whether data engineer or business analyst or data scientist or anything in that data domain work for them. Or for the people who have been already working in a different domain, probably a non-tech or some engineering jobs, but they're not interested or not finding their passion in that and want to explore data domain because they feel like they're very analytical in nature. So for them, this is the best one. And also to the people who wants to go to US, either do masters there or already working in a company as in a data domain and want to explore the world and go to different countries and work in their companies.
So to sum it up, it's for both technical and non-technical background folk, not just limited to engineers, but also people who are in other set of education, and also for people uh, who who just want to be out there and maybe don't want to go for their masters or MBA to different university to be eligible to work outside, but rather they can take a route wherein they can go work in India and how to move up the ladder of that Indian segment that buys you a flight ticket from your team and manager to fly out. And the third one are the people who may or may not know, but they just know that they are good with their communication and other skills that is not correlated with development or coding. Someone who is having a mindset to look at the broader picture and come up with solutions. And it can be observed through like simple acts of your daily lives, maybe call it your college project or team management skills or articulation, storytelling. If you have like those set of skills, this profession could be a good one for you. Also, it comes embedded with like data. Can you tell us more about data?
Yeah, so data is the main key of the whole thing. So to simply put, in this whole world, if you speak to anyone, we are always trying to solve a problem and and have a solution to that problem. So everyone have an opinion how to solve a problem. Even if you talk to your 90-year grandma, they will have an opinion on how to solve it. But opinions are always opinions. The opinions, when it is met with data, that's when it's a right solution will happen or the right decision can be taken. So that's where the data comes in hand. So having opinions is not a right thing, not a bad thing, but opinion itself will not solve a problem. So solving a problem using a data approach, having a data driven decision making system, that's what makes any solution much more viable than normal opinion based solution. So yeah, saying that data is everywhere. Of course, 10 years ago, it was it was not there much. But in last 10 years, there's a lot of development happened on data, and a lot of communication, marketing as well. And a lot of advertising has happened, why data is important. So probably by now, everyone knows how what is data is, but how can we utilize that data as a big tool in everything what you do in life and to thrive in life or in career, the data will be super handy. tool to use.
Yeah, I'm in sync with you, Sharat. We're seeing like generations going back to like 1890s, wherein the first radio came in, the first television came in around 1927. Then the
Mhm.
computers came in way later in late 1900s. Internet boomed in 1990s. And then further, there was a space wherein the internet and IoT devices, the Internet of Things, they happen to collect data, and a lot more data. And data is the new oil, but what's happening with this new oil is they
Mhm.
need people to understand how refined is this new oil, how suitable it is for the vehicle. The vehicle is an analogy being given to the technology.
Mhm.
And if you have good oil and if you have a good vehicle, of course, it's an era wherein automation is kicking in. And that's what we've been hearing in America and India and all corners of the world. So even artificial intelligence is a booming element to technology. You
Yeah.
have something to share, Sharat?
Yeah, I would add there, yeah, the AI thing which is coming up. A lot of people think AI is the thing, but AI is nothing without the data. So whatever the data goes into that AI system is what the output will look like. So if the data what we collect and put into it is not good or not in a right fashion, the AI is useless. So it's just another tool. So the data is so much key. People still AI is the final product, but the back end is always the data. So like having a right data, how to interpret the data, how to look into the data, how to manipulate the data into an where how it can be fed into a AI system. So like knowing that is still a bigger picture than just AI.
And not to overwhelm any of the viewers, data is like what we are doing right now, Sharad and me, real time. We are producing data in terms of audio, pixels, and then whatever this session is being recorded will be offloaded to cloud. So we are poking in around the cloud and then editing the video. So what we are essentially doing is in real term creating data, and that data is being manipulated so viewers can watch it. So at this point, if this video is already out and you are someone who is watching us, then it's synthesis of data that you're watching essentially.
Mhm.
And even your watch time and your engagement or your comment or anything that's happening with respect to these frames
Mhm.
is more data being produced that allows us to take feedback on how the viewers have engaged or interacted with the substance of the video. And the entire life cycle of data creation and getting the feedback helps us iterate and improve our quality of video the next time we again meet and throw it out for the audience. And it's a repetitive process, and that's what innovation is like. So even I would like to bust a lot of myths and the term so-called disruption,
Yeah.
what it exactly means. I'm super excited for it, essentially because Sharad and I both come from engineering background wherein we don't know which direction we'll be picking, but life happened. And now when we look back 10 years back, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, life was beautiful. Sharad, share some glimpse so the tribe can connect with you.
If I look back, it's almost been 12 years. I completed engineering. I started engineering 2020, 2008 to 2012. Again, like I come from a very small town, like 10,000 people. I did my schooling and like 12th there. And then I wanted to come to Bangalore. Like Bangalore is like my to go city to like grow myself. So I was looking to come to Bangalore, but I was not getting any engineering branches which I wanted, like computer science or electronics. But I wanted a good college also. So I came into a college called Bangalore Institution of Technology in a telecommunication domain. Although I had no idea what is telecommunication, why I should even get into it. I just got in because I wanted a seat in engineering in Bangalore. So I got in there. It was completely like like a shattering thing for me, I can say, because a lot of things changed in how I used to think in my schooling and the 12th till 12th and how I was started thinking when I come to Bangalore. It's a big place,
It's
lot of people. Yeah.
is it because you moved from a pond to a big
Yeah.
river, or is it did you move from like teenager to be like upcoming adult or something like that? The
The,
hormonal change and shift.
yeah, the hormonal thing is one, but yeah, the first analogy, I think the pond where I was in a small pond. In a small pond, I was a very big fish. I knew everyone, like my parents were like already like the whole 10,000 people, at least like 8,000 people knew my dad. So because Eventually, I was also kind of famous. I was thinking in my head, which I was not. But when I came to Bangalore, I realized, oh, this is not 10,000. I'm playing with like 10 to 1 crore people. So it's like very big river or like an ocean. So I'm just a small fish, not even a like small fish, a tiny little big fish. So that big change of perspective shattered me. But eventually, like I grown through it. So it took me like a long years, like 4 years to understand the new way of living, the new way of like meeting people and like interacting with people and like knowing where I come from and what I can do. So it took time. At the same time, of course, engineering was there. It's not for me to. I was not because had no plan, no goal, no passion. I was just doing.
What kind of student you were as an engineer? Did you score good marks or in between, or you flung in a few subjects?
Yeah, I didn't score much. I used to score like at least a topper, like at least I used to be in the top five and when my schooling, till my schooling. But when I came here, I become a very average student, not even average, like below average, 60%. So I had an aggregate of 59.9 percentage, which is the cutoff of our placements well about 60. So I didn't even was not even allowed to give placement interviews in my seventh sem because I also had a first time backlog in sixth term. So, which is also shocking for me because I never had a failure in my life till that date. And as soon as I had a first failure, I was like again shattered. Like, okay, what's happening in my life? I never flunked, and now I flunked in one subject. How can this happen to me? But I realized if I look back now, I feel like it's just a very small, tiny bit of event in my life because I didn't realize at that time there were like in life we'll always have a lot of failures and we need to learn how to handle the failures and like grow from it. So that failure actually was a stepping stone which helped me to grow.
What did the failure do to you though?
Yeah, the failure basically made me felt like I want to do something big. That gave me a perspective that I want to do big. And luckily, I didn't get any placement, although all my friends had got a placement in my engineering, and I was very insecure. Like, oh, I'm not getting any placed anywhere, so I'm not going to have job. And I spent like almost 3 to 4 months doing some random courses, feeling that pain. But fortunately, I went through Amazon. I got through an Amazon non-tech role. It's called catalog associate. It was like a very base level job, like an L2 job at Amazon. At Amazon, the level starts from L2 to L12. Jeff Bezos is L12, and L2 is like the lowest. So I joined the level two. When I went to Amazon, that gave me an opportunity and a platform for me to excel. So that's when I started like learning ways of like working, how to improve myself as a person, how to improve my career, how to improve my life. So a lot of things I started there, learning there. So the fire which came in because of the failure which I happened in my engineering time. So yeah, failures are always like a kickstarter for a bigger purpose in life.
That's interesting. So you basically had your career etiquettes in
Mm.
Amazon,
Yeah.
and that was triggered due to your first failure. It's not so strange how like education system has been built, and if you fail, you feel like a failure. And in arts and the other creative backgrounds, you have to fail daily in order to succeed. And those so an individual who is into education aura versus an individual who is in creative aura, they both have very different perception when it comes to connecting with failures. Oh,
What I add there, it took me a lot of time. Even now, I'm learning because the whole upbringing of the masses has always been like you need to win, you need to be the first person, you need to like compete, you need to always win. Like failure is not even an option. But that's a very false narration or like the false upbringing because failure is part of life. Life will always fail. Like the more you do, the more chances of failure. The more chances of failure, the more chance of success. So failure is a stepping stone for success. So if you can't fail right,
that means failure is a part of success, an
yes,
ingredient to success, recipe of success.
yes. So if you don't see
Oh,
failure, if you only see success, that is not. It's just a success at a very like how I was in a small pond. Like success, I feel like in a small pond you can have success, but that's not a real success. It's just tiny success in the end of the spectrum.
Success is also a very broad 7 letter word, I feel. It's very abstract. For everyone, it's different, it's subjective. Uh, and what's not so funny is also how people gauge others who are successful based upon their like bank balance and materialistic possession and stuff. But to the new age, I suppose it's like the kindness and the humility that the person has got. I've been more closer towards the music industry, the technology industry. I personally have observed that people who hone years to create their craft become humble in that journey and the process through failing. Every failure is like chiseling out a new side of them that's more humbler, more kinder.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, definitely. Failure shapes you as a person. I have had a lot of failures from that point, the first failure I got till now. Like even like when I'm speaking, I'm like into a financial domain, like doing something an entrepreneur kind of stuff. I've been failing. But I know that is shaping me inside to grow to my next level. So it's part of the whole journey. Yeah, we can definitely talk about the whole journey. We can start from Amazon.
yeah, absolutely. But before hitting the notes of Amazon, I want to go back in the 3 months of time wherein you had completed your undergraduation and you were you didn't know that you will be landing up in Amazon
Yeah.
because that's a very stressful
It
aspect of
yeah.
the timeline.
Yeah. So that period, right? I think majority of the people would have been or going through or been through. Some it can be 3 months, for some it can be 6 months, and some it can be years or that period. It's definitely a very insecure period. Like you don't know what's the future. Everyone in the world will be telling, "Oh, you finished your graduation, you didn't get a job." All the taunts from everywhere, and like someone might have get a job, and then they'll say like, "Oh, your friend got a job, you didn't get a job." So all the taunts, even I had a fair share of it, and it was a very depressing kind of stage. So it was like 3 to 4 months of stage. The key there, at least now, if I look back, it's not to lose the confidence in you and keep up, and then continuously do the things which are necessary to get to the goal what you're looking for. Basically, at that point of time, is to get a job. So at that time, I stayed with my brother. I was getting up, just cook, apply for interviews, and also it's an era of like less internet. It was in 2012, so it was not like everything was to happen online. So like go to an interview place, stand in queue for like 2 3 hours in the sunlight, and then like give an interview, and by end of the day you will get a not so favorable result, and then come back and then like redo. It was a hard time. Fortunately, again to say, like an opportunity knocked at my door from Amazon, so went through it and got a job at Amazon.
I'm excited to hear about you and your journey in the upcoming episodes of how this Amazon gig that started in India helped you fly to see, experience a very different lifestyle of a first world country.
Yeah.
Um, and and even the people you met or the professional lifestyle that you experienced out
Mhm.
there. How was that? What made you decide that you wish to be back, stepping back in India and running your own gig? Um, to me, I took the master's route. I completed my undergrad in 2016. 3 years I was by myself
Mhm.
experimenting. Um, when I turned 25, I flew for my master's in information systems at Stevens Institute of Technology. And I think life changed because I picked up an internship at IBM, 11 months of co-op, and recession happened. So mine was the first batch to witness what a recession or what a pandemic does to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, post then, like I had my own ups and downs with career and checking out Google campus, Amazon campus, Oracle campus, Facebook one, and all these headquarters. It did give me a sense of identity. Hey, maybe I want to climb up the corporate ladder and get known for it. But then with time, I was like others climb up the corporate ladder. I'll just take my escalator or my lift. How about you? Did you never thought of like climbing up the ladder and being there in Amazon or moving from Amazon?
Yeah, so definitely I was in that race in the beginning of the career. That's what the fire which came from the engineering of not doing well in engineering. When I came into Amazon, it was a fire that made me Like I want to climb up the ladder because that's the only goal to have, which was good at that time when I was like doing it. If you look back now, I feel like, was it needed? That question is there. But the outcome of that definitely makes me feel like, okay, it was needed at that point of time. To summarize, yeah, like your journey is completely different. Like from my journey is completely, and I think everyone's journey is completely different. Going to US itself or going to any other country from particular, like from a home country, it's definitely a life changing experience. So yeah, we will anyways have a lot of episodes on this to give a summary of the whole thing. I started with Amazon. I started with the goal of like the rat race goal. Not I would not like to call like looking back I will call rat race, but when I was there I won't say it a rat race. It is a survival of the fittest. Like you want to survive. You want to like survive and thrive, not just survive also. So that was the mindset. So at that time, it was like again, as I said, like it started from L2. I wanted to grow as fast as like to L6 in 7 years. I think that was my goal I had, or 6 years. In 6 years, I need to jump 4 levels. Usually, the goal or like the time frame needed for that average, if I was a data person, average, it's almost 16 years or 12 to 16 years, somewhere around that. Let's say 15 years for the namesake. So a 15-year goal for an average person, like now I had a goal that I want to achieve that, like the race in 6 years. So that was a hard task. Fortunately, I went through all of that and like ace in all of them and all the levels. And I got there in like 6. I achieved my goal, which I want. At that point of time, I looked back. We can talk about like how did I achieve that in talking session. Once I achieved, then I look back like, hey, I achieved this. So what next? The next is to have another crazy goal, and then like from L6 to L10 or L8, next whatever time period. I was like, what's the point? Is it something that I enjoyed the entire journey or not? So when I asked that question, I was like, again, like I didn't enjoy it. Although it gave me the monetary benefit, it gave me the connections, network, it gave me a lot of learning. Inside, it was always a feel that like I wanted to do something else. I wanted to do something which is more meaningful for me. So, and that's when I had a lot of always explored myself and then figured out like what I should do. So I finally stopped that rat race and then realized it's not a race and it's not again a sprint like where 15 years thing I need to do in 6 years. It's about like doing what you like, doing what you are made of, what are your strengths, and then following that passion and following that interest, what makes you, and then like money is something that I understood it comes naturally when you start doing it. Yeah, this was
100%.
yeah.
100%. We'll go through like a very linear walkthrough into this process in our upcoming episodes. What educational indoctrination does is like it puts your brain cells on a linear path that I'm chasing the carrots, the numbers, L to L6 wala journey. And while chasing the carrots, you develop a linear thought process towards a process. If I'm spending this much amount of efforts for this much time, I'll reach to some distance. Uh, and as a creative, I learned that life also has a symmetric path and non-linearity to it. But that's only possible when you
Obviously.
how the world is moving, how corporate game theory is built up, and how everything has been set up, and with what intention it has been put up. Because marketing is about presentation. Presentation, everything that's gimmicky looks amazing like magic. But when you get underneath that layer of gimmicky nature of things, uh, you just learn, it's okay, but it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve my purpose. That's the reason the audience who connect with a lifestyle career, whatever they want to do and love, what kind of career suits them, fits them, how to get into that
Yeah.
segment. And that's the reason I have selected a vision for this entire uh, creative adventure is to create a world that allows people to meet their passion with purpose
Mhm.
and change the world through the art of storytelling.
Yeah. And I want to add one more thing. And by hearing this, a lot of people might think like, oh, corporate is not something that we should do. We should do something else because there is only a rat race in that. Like, that's not what we're trying. What I'm trying to say mainly is everyone has their own skill. Few are set to do a corporate job. They like doing it and they enjoy doing that on a daily basis, dealing with like people, like talking and then growing. And it's all power to them. They should do that consistent because that's also good. It's not like, oh, it's only rat race, it's only negativity. No, it's good. But at the same time, a lot of people have a mismatch of careers because someone wants to do, let's say, in corporate itself, someone wants to do analytics and they got into engineering. They're two different world or two different mindset. Or someone wants to do product management. They're again in engineering or in analytics. Doesn't make sense. So being in the right place is what matters. Even within corporate or even within a bigger world picture, like like you want to like focus more on art and like technology in combined injunction. If you're in corporate, you would only focus on technology. So which is not helping our purpose. For me, it was more of like I want to explore entrepreneurial in finance domain. Like I want to like use finance as a key to like unlock myself. So if I'm in Amazon, I would have not done. So I went into this domain. So it is all different per person. Whichever your interest, where you are liking, you need to like work hard in either of it. Like, and there are negatives or cons in any area, not just in corporate. So I just wanted to make it clear, like people shouldn't think, oh, corporate is bad, like everything else is good. Like no, all are bad, all are good. It it's aligning yourself to a particular area which you are strong.
To simplify this notion, it's like everything is neutral energy out there. You hold the potential to polarize it.
Yeah.
So polarize the one that resonates with you, because the better it resonates with you, you get a meaning to wake up every morning in your day and go to bed so that you can wake up and redo that thing. If it's business analysis in a corporate or development or any field, even cake making
Right.
for that matter, just do it. And the the neutral energy, the finance or the money, it will get magnetized to you. That's the mindset that I've been living in. Uh, and yeah, man, 20s is about experimentation. 30s is when you put all your bricks together. And probably this is my first brick, I did say, for my 30s that's coming in together along with a few other side projects that I'm doing. But I'm so excited to get to hear from you, and even before we met, what life was, and share, exchange that pieces of journey that we missed out then.
Yes, yes. I just wanted to add one more thing about like how we met. I do remember you roaming in SLU, and the first day when we met, SLU is like the South Lake Union for people. Like it's a place in Seattle where Amazon offices are there. So Akash was like roaming around and exploring that area when he came there. I was coming back from office. I just met him on the road. I like, hey Akash, what are you doing here? Like, no, I was just exploring. There are some guitar classes. I want to like go ahead and like, oh, that's nice. Did you see it? Like, that already saw. Okay, then let's go home. I'm anyways going home. So I then took it to home, and that's when the conversation started. Like, hey, well, what do you want to do? What are you doing? What are you thinking about career? How you want to grow? What are things out there? Like, I was sharing my experience at that time. That fortunately definitely helped you in shaping up how you are and how you think now. So that, like, I'm happy with that. So yeah, like that scenarios is where like you learn from others experience, what they have done, what their journeys are, and from there you pick up things and then like grow your career or grow your life. So this podcast is all about that, I guess. So we talk about our journeys, we talk about our experiences, we talk about like what are our failures, what are our successes, what made that success, what made that failure, how can we counteract the failures, how can we enhance the success. So all these things will be shared in the podcast, and then we can. I hope it helps a lot of bigger audiences to grow them.
I don't hope, I believe that this thing will help, because I'll tell you my side of the story since you opened up the topic. अपना एक ही शौक, गिटार बजाना, म्यूजिक में रहना.
Mm.
And that has always allowed me to mix with different genre of people, parents, kids, grandparents, all sides of people and individual, and improve my connection, communication, articulation, the choice of words that I use, or how I set up my thoughts, imagination. So like when I was young, I used to see these tattoo shops and like people making tattoo in and around like many guitars and like, like I say metal backdrop ke saath. I was not into metal as such, but I was like, okay, this is the Americanized version of musical stores that I want to visit. So every time I was in US and I wanted to kill time, I used to spend time by music stores or by musicians. Now that also allowed me to get exposed to a lot more music. Like a water, I was into like Latin, blues, Spanish flamenco, gypsy rhythm, Indian classical, and trying to learn it, trying to play it. Because for me, it was just like, oh, I'm learning, I'm feeling, I'm learning, I'm feeling, I'm learning. A career, it will come to me, it will find its way to me. I just need to keep going on my like follow my heart. So when I look back, all dots connect, and they do connect. Uh, the meet with you was specific because I was turning around 24, 25, and I was like, I need to think about what I'm gonna do in next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And I just knew that what I don't want to do.
Hmm.
So of all that interaction, I remember I told you, hey, Shradha, I don't want to code or develop. I feel it's way too logical and I'm not able to comprehend that headspace. Now I can, but back then I was like, I want to be in a creative, open-ended space. And I suppose, yeah, that conversation changed because it showed me light on a path that, oh, in technology, and I want to put it out loud, there is a platform or space for everyone. It's not limiting anyone. But you need to have that right guidance and get to know more stories so that you know that, hey, this could be my path. Do I want to walk through it? You learn about different people's story. And that's the path of short least resistance because the failures or the mistakes others did, you just avoid to open those branches or loop and going in the cyclic order of failing yourself. You learn from others and you be on your own path. And maybe you fail in new direction, new ways, and that's fine because it's not anticipated. Your story will help someone else at some point of time.